and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Neff.
Edward Lewis.
Wow, Edward stepping in today. The dynamic duo is back. See you later. Charlie Cotton who?
Yeah, definitely. Charlie Cotton who?
Charlie's out. He's in Australia. But we have a lot of big stories to cover today. We're going to be starting off with the Chiefs Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl. And Taylor Swift took the field to plant a big kiss on Travis's lips. I loved it. Justin Baldoni, his lawyer is slamming Blake Lively over the attempted gag order. We'll get into that because that is still heating up. And lastly, Kim Kardashian threw Chicago her 7th birthday party. And you know she went all out.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting off with the big games over the weekend.
Huge day yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you were out hitting the town.
I was, yeah.
Do you remember the night?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't one of those crazy ones. Yeah, I'm actually feeling okay. But those bars are so loud.
They are.
To people.
Oh, you're like yelling.
And I wasn't like, I had no rooting interest in it. I'm a Cowboys fan and they couldn't be farther from these games. I lost my voice just speaking to you. You know,
your voice is a little cracky.
Bars are very loud. So anyways, the story that we're talking about here is obviously Chiefs versus Bills. Huge game. Taylor Swift shows up in bright red leggings and what appeared to be Louis Vuitton.
She's always
jacket.
like on theme with the colors.
She looked great. She looked amazing. And the Chiefs won. Arrowhead Stadium, big game. They look like the better team throughout the most part, and I can just sit there and just be so envious of Patrick Mahomes. If people aren't sports fans and they're listening to this podcast, what you're seeing from Patrick Mahomes is unlike anything we've ever seen. And people will equate it to Tom Brady a little bit, and sure, Tom did similar to this, but Patrick is on another level that we saw it a little bit with Brady, but this is just even better. I mean, he's outstanding.
I don't want to make this about me, but
okay, let's make it
I'm very glad that the Chiefs won because on the TMZ Sports show, I guess Mojo Rawley and Michael Babcock, the two hosts, had said that if the Bills won, they volunteered me to have to jump off of whatever and crush down into a table and like snap it in half.
That's what Bills Mafia did.
I was praying all day yesterday. I'm like, please God, don't let me do this.
Their fans do that.
Now they're out. Sorry,
you
Bills.
You don't have to jump into it.
I don't have to.
Table.
Yes, my body would have snapped in half if I attempted that.
No table jumping either. So anyways, the Chiefs win 32-29. After the game, though, is what everybody wants to talk about.
That's a blowout.
No, not at all.
It's not?
No.
55-20.
Oh, that was the earlier game.
Oh.
Eagles Commanders start
that
today.
Was a blowout.
That was the NFC Championship. So the Eagles won that one. That was a murder. That didn't even.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I don't even know why the Commanders showed up. So the Eagles are going to play the Chiefs. The Chiefs won later in the night, won 32-29. But like I said, the only thing anybody wants to talk about is Taylor after the game. They showed her on the broadcast. She was like fawning over Travis. Travis made a fool of himself after the game. Did you watch the post-game press conference?
I heard some of the stuff. I love him.
He's on the dais, and he's like talking about it. He's saying, "Get down tonight," and it's so cringe. And Taylor's like, "All right, Travis, stop." You know,
she loves it.
But yeah, so they were seeing the kissing. He like made out with her on the field.
I know.
They were really laying it on thick there, and that was the story. So now they're going back to Super Bowl. Chiefs Eagles. They played 2 years ago. You remember the Chiefs won, and this was. And everybody got introduced to Mama Kelsey and Jason Travis, and you're gonna have all these storylines again. But Taylor's gonna be there again, and here we are again.
I love it. I love it. I don't think people thought they were gonna make it this far, and they really have blown away everyone's like expectations. Remember, there was like a fake like contract. People are like, "Oh, the contract is ending soon." Well, they're still together. They still seem very happy. Do you think there's any way if the Chiefs win that he proposes on the field?
No, that's not either of them stees, right? I don't think.
I think it's Travis's thing.
I don't see that. I could see it like being the week after they're on like some sort of vacation somewhere, and then that's how they
something
do it.
More private.
But it certainly does feel like the finish line. I will say that. Like I don't know how many more laps these two have to run. They've been together a little over a year now, maybe 2 years, almost going on 2 years, and they've done everything together. She's been to his games. He's been to her concerts. They traveled the globe. They lived together in Kansas City.
I saw her parents were there last night.
Mom and Dad were there.
Yep, she walked in with her parents.
Their home has been burglarized. They've gone through that kind of traumatic stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's no more laps to run. And they're both. He's 36. She's 35. Like like we're here.
It's
know what
time.
I mean? Yeah. So I don't think this is far off.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Well, moving on
day.
to some beef. This Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively beef is just never ending. So Justin's attorney said that he won't be bullied, that Justin won't be bullied by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So his lawyer told us that their recent court filings show how scared they are. So Blake's team recently asked a judge for a gag order to stop Friedman and Co., from which is, Baldoni's attorney, from talking about the case to the media. And so his attorney is saying that it's an ironic attempt to gag the truth in a case where she claims she wants all the facts to come out. This is kind of on the heels of Brian Friedman releasing that video, that 10-minute long video during filming for the movie, which, they both had very different accounts of what happened during the slow dance scene. And Brian Friedman has said that soon they're going to be posting a website with more evidence, more videos, more photos, or whatever they have. And he says, look, this is just, Hollywood is based on pure fear, cultivated by both of them, and they're very powerful friends in entertainment. But he says it's a well-calculated hit piece, which, was the New York Times article that wrote up this story and, stuff about Justin Baldoni. But yeah, it's just getting super nasty, and it seems like he's not cowering to this attempted gag order.
Yeah, I don't really understand Blake Lively's point here. I like, you made allegations against me basically through the media, right? I mean, you used this tool of a lawsuit or whatever to get it into the public atmosphere, and now you're not going to allow me the chance to respond in the same avenue. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that. Like, he has every right, in my opinion, to say what he wants to the media, and I know, these court cases, they don't want them necessarily adjudicated in the media eyes and contain a jury pool, this, that, and the other. But she's already done that on her end. So why does he not get to do it on his end? And I do think some of this stuff clears up some things, right? You saw that 10-minute video.
Yeah.
It's important for us to see that in its unedited state, right?
But
now we can make our own opinions.
I will say, though, whoever presents it, you kind of look at it through their eyes. So at first, when Justin had, they said, this clears him of any, sexual harassment. I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't see anything weird.
Sure.
But then when she came out with a statement that was her team saying, no, if you look closely, this is her being uncomfortable. She's consistently trying to say, oh, let's just talk, let's not kiss, and it is uncomfortable. But then when they presented that side, I'm like, oh, I can kind of see it that way too.
Perhaps.
So I think in a way, whoever is presenting the narrative first, you kind of can see it with those eyes, but you can actually see it both ways as well.
That's the important part of it, right?
I don't know it did favors for either one of them.
I
just
agree
think
with
this
that,
whole thing was a disaster.
And I think that's the most important part. It showed that they're both kind of being petty about it. Well, I guess more so Blake than him. I mean, it looked like two people that were having a contentious workplace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To claim sexual harassment in a movie that's all about you guys being sexual is a very unique thing. And it's clear that he was trying to direct it for the movie, in my opinion, and not necessarily to be intimate with her. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. I hope that a judge does not grant the gag order, because I do. I think you've railroaded him in all these documents, and according to Friedman, you have helped the New York Times, with this, put it out in the media, and now he doesn't have a chance to respond. And again, I think videos like the ones we saw are important. You could see both sides, and you can make your own opinion. And
yeah, and I think that was the issue, though, is I could see both sides, and I'm like, well, where does that, as a viewer, where does that bring me? Nowhere. I don't feel like one person's really right and one person's
because
really
she's
wrong.
alleging Justin Baldoni is a complete monster. And if you watch,
her allegations were wild.
And if you're like, well, neither seems to be necessarily in the wrong, or neither seems to be in the right, at least that softens the hit that he's taken in the public eye.
Yeah.
So,
and he's been stepping out, looking on Faze. He's been in Hawaii with his family,
God, he's an
happy
attractive
surfing.
guy, by the way.
Yeah,
my goodness,
he is a
built
good-looking
and
guy.
abs and
Yeah, even like in the movie, there's like a scene where he like takes off his shirt and he's like jacked.
Dude, he is.
All the girls in the theater that I was at, because I saw it in the theater, were like,
Yes.
wow!
Yeah.
Like just could not like sit in their seat.
I had no idea who this guy was before this movie, and now he is like not because of the movie, but because of their
Controversy.
drama.
Yeah.
He is now like vaulting into A-list status. You
Yeah,
know,
but
like,
do you think this is gonna hurt him getting roles in the future? Because, like, to your point, no one really like knew
only
him.
if some of this evidence is damning, and I don't think we've seen any sort of evidence that's damning yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we see a video and he's like slapping her butt or doing something totally inappropriate, I think that okay, maybe this is. But if it's all just along the lines of the video that we saw, where it's maybe he crossed the line, maybe she crossed the line, who knows? I
Yeah.
don't think so at all. I think it's projected. And now we see him. Normally we get Justin Baldoni in Hawaii. It's like, who the hell cares? Now it's Justin Baldoni
Right.
in Hawaii, A-list, for above the fold. You know, like I think this is going to do a lot for him if these allegations
cleared.
proven to be, petty that they seem
Right,
to be, you know.
right.
So we'll see.
Moving on, Kim Kardashian had a birthday party for 7-year-old Chicago West, and she went all yeehaw for her daughter's birthday. So she posted on Instagram a series of photos celebrating Chicago's birthday, which was on January 15th. And Chicago looks super cute. She has like a little white getup, and like on the back, she has like a bunch of like glittering letters of her name. And it was all like cowboy theme, and there was like the Texas Hold'em song that was playing. Kim even got into like a cowgirl like outfit with like all black leather. Her shirt was like unbuttoned with like a Western belt, blue jeans, like all the things. And there was like a birthday cake that said Shy on it. And yeah, all her siblings were there as well. And it was full cowboy themed party.
You know, I was looking at Instagram the other day, and obviously I follow a lot of wags because of my job here at TMZ Sports. And Jillian Ayes, well, that's it's my job. But, Jillian Ayes is Deshaun Watson's girlfriend, and Deshaun Watson, if you're familiar, he signed a like $300 million guaranteed contract,
God.
and in a lot of her, they're like basically married at this point. I believe they're engaged. She's tattooed on him. You know, like this, they're a big deal. They're together, and in almost every single Instagram she posts, she is in some sort of like might even be hundreds of thousands of dollars of attire. You know, Louis Vuitton, Chanel,
like all
bracelets.
designer.
And so my point here is, if and when you get this kind of money, it feels like the world. It's not. It's
what are you trying to say?
It's not nothing. Are you ever happy? You know what I'm trying to say? Like if you were eating filet mignon every night and it's amazing every night, it seems like when you reach this level of money.
So you don't believe in more money, more problems?
I think it's more money, and like I don't
and more happiness.
I don't enjoy things anymore, right? Like if everything I own is Chanel and Louis and like this to this point, like this is a 7-year-old who's having a party that's bigger than you and I have ever had in our 100 years of life. You know what I mean?
For yourself.
Like,
no, I'm kidding. Mine were like roller
like this
skating.
is crazy. Yeah, it's 7 years old, personalized birthday cakes, personalized clothes. You know, if she ever wants a Chanel bag, she could have 70 of them. Her Birkin bag, she probably has 15 in her closet. She has a G-Wagon waiting for her when she's 15. It's almost sad for me. Do
you think the difference though is like you and I, let's say we hit the lotto.
Yeah.
I feel like we would be pretty damn happy, like living
well,
rich
for the first year or two. And then,
you think it's not like sustainable?
Well,
I think it's only different if you like are born into the money and then you don't realize like how great it is and how you can have like, you know, now you're like, if you like for us, like for me, like I would be like, oh my gosh, with my winnings, I'm going to go fly and meet the Spice Girls. Like do things that I could never have done before. Of course.
That's what
versus
for the
like
first
born
couple
into
years, you have a new mansion, all that stuff. But then I think, like I said, how often can you eat filet mignon Monday through Friday? And then it becomes less enjoyable, right? You eat Nobu.
Is this what you're trying to tell yourself to like not level up? I mean, I will take the winnings.
Obviously, but I just feel like it's almost sad that they don't appreciate it necessarily. I'm not saying that Chicago isn't appreciating it, but I know at some point.
But I don't think she necessarily knows it's special.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If I have Nobu every day, is it special anymore? You know what I mean? Like the reason Nobu,
it's your regular life.
Yeah, that's my chicken, rice, and broccoli is my Nobu. I don't know. It almost pains me, I guess is the right word, to see like people that like the mundane for them is something that 99.9% of the world like would love to have, and that it's a sad life. I think I don't mean to trash
I
this or whatever.
feel like you're just
I don't
telling
know.
yourself that.
I don't know. I mean,
Edward.
obviously, I would prefer to have that, but
I will cry in my Lamborghini.
But I feel like if I'm looking forward to a Mexican vacation, you know, like this is awesome. You know, I just think some of these people that are this wealthy don't get to do. You know what I mean?
Okay, if you ever won the lotto, what's the first thing you're buying?
Like a beach house.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
What beach?
Somewhere that has a volleyball net that I could just walk out and play volleyball every day.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds very
A
simple.
beautiful one though, you know, like big view of the ocean and that kind of thing,
Okay.
yeah. And then like another car.
And then be sad
Fast car.
later.
Well, right, and then every day I'm like, oh, this cool mansion I have now, and I've sat in it forever now.
Oh God, Edward, you're so
I don't know. I think you get to a point where it's too much money.
I will never see that.
You don't appreciate these things. You know?
All right. Well, Edward, I appreciate you today being on the TMZ podcast.
I appreciate you for having me on. Yeah.
Yes, you are lovely. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you tomorrow.